If you've missed a mortgage payment in Illinois, or you're about to, nothing terrible happens immediately. But quiet waiting is how options disappear without warning. I'm Gimpert with O'Neill Property Group. This video is here to explain the actual Illinois foreclosure timeline so you understand what happens when options still exist and why early clarity matters. And a quick note before we start, this is not legal advice and this isn't about rushing you to sell. This is about understanding your timeline early so you can make informed decisions before options narrow. If you want help mapping out your options privately, you can comment options below and we'll point you in the right direction. Here's what actually happens after you miss a payment in Illinois. At first, things are quieter than most people expect. You'll usually see late notices, fees added, or phone calls or letters from your lender. And at this stage, you are not in foreclosure yet. And this is where many homeowners freeze because nothing dramatic is happening. But this early window is when you actually have the most flexibility. The problem isn't what happens right away, it's what happens if you wait too long to understand your timeline. And after multiple missed payments, lenders begin moving towards formal action. This is often called pre-foreclosure. And during this period, homeowners may still have options like catching up payments, a loan modification, or selling before things escalate. The key point is this: most options exist before a formal foreclosure filing. Once the process advances, choices become more limited and more expensive. If you're feeling overwhelmed, that's normal. Most homeowners don't avoid action because they don't care. They avoid it because they're unsure of what step to take. Understanding the timeline reduces that pressure. Once a foreclosure is formally filed in Illinois, the situation becomes more rigid. At this point, timelines matter more. Flexibility shrinks, and delays often cost equity and credit. This doesn't mean you're out of options, but it does mean fewer paths forward. And this is where waiting quietly hurts more than asking questions early. The biggest mistake isn't missing a payment. The most damaging move is doing nothing while time passes. Not because something terrible happens overnight, but because options disappear gradually. Homeowners often tell me I just needed time to think, and that makes sense. But thinking without understanding your timeline is what creates unnecessary losses. Early action does not mean deciding today or selling your home immediately, or making a rushed choice. It means understanding your timeline and knowing what options still exist and creating a plan before pressure increases. That's it. Clarity first, decision second. If you want to go deeper on the options that still exist before things escalate, I have another video that walks through them calmly step by step. It's called Struggling with Payments, Your 2026 Options to Avoid Foreclosure in Illinois. If you're behind on payments or worried you might be, a seller strategy call can help you understand your options before they narrow. There's no obligation and no pressure to sell. It's simply a planning conversation so you know where you stand. I'm Gimpert with O'Neill Property Group. If you're facing a tough situation, remember, you don't need to decide everything today. You just need to understand your timeline. And I'll see you in the next one.